Hey everyone, Mr. W here. Today's lesson is on long division strategy and how we can use multiplication to solve division. Remember that long division is when you're using the long division brackets to show your steps. And our strategy is using related multiplication facts. A division problem has information already in it that can help us to solve it. For example, 22 divided by 5, we can use the 5, we can use the 22, and we can even use the part on top that we don't know the answer. Let's just call that n. We'll give that a variable, and that is the unknown number that we need to find. With that information, we can write the equation 5 times n equals 22. And our job is to solve for n. In other words, what does n equal? This is where it gets tricky because with division, you don't always have an exact answer. In this case, we cannot multiply 5 by any number and get exactly 22. But we can try to get as close as we can. Get as close as we can without going over. Well, that fact would be 5 times 4 equals 20. That information we can use. That is a related multiplication fact. We can use the 4, we're going to put that on top, and 5 times 4 equals 20. 20 was as close as we could actually get. Now, the reason why we subtract is that we need to find out how close did we get. 22 minus 20 is equal to 2. So really what we're saying is that our answer is 4 groups of 5, but we had 2 left over that did not fit in a group. Don't forget your vocabulary. We have the dividend is the big number to be divided. The divisor to the left is the number of equal groups. Our answer is called the quotient, and that shows how many are in each group. And some problems have a remainder, which we would show with the letter R and the number that comes after it. Our steps we've done on another lesson. That's not our focus for today, but it's to divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and sometimes you have to repeat those steps. Our strategy is based on related multiplication and division facts. For example, we know that 5 times 4 is 20. Then you could switch it. 4 times 5 is 20. But you can also do division facts using the same numbers in all of the problems interchangeably. And that's really helpful when we do division. We also call that fact families. Okay, let's try solving 79 divided by 8 using our multiplication or related facts. We want to solve, the first step is to ask yourself, 8 times what number goes into 7? So we start with the 7. The letter n up at the top means that's what we're looking for. In other words, how many times does 8 go into 7? Without going over. And again, it's kind of confusing, and that's why division takes a little bit of practice. Let's use our facts. On the right side, 8 times 1 equals 8, and already that's too much. So we're going to go back to the 0. 8 times 0 is 0. And he said, well, what do you mean? Well, 8 goes in 0 times. So we're going to put a 0 there for now and then move on to the next digit. Now we're going to look at the 9, but really we're looking at 79. Ask yourself, 8 times what number equals 79? In other words, how many times can 8 go into 79 without going over? Remember, a lot of times you're not going to get an exact answer, and that's why we say without going over. Let's look at our 8 facts. 8 times 2, 16, 24. 8 times 4 is 32. We're getting closer to 79, right? Getting closer. 64, 8 times 9, 72. Let's try one more. And that's too much. 8 times 10 is 80, is too much. So we're going to go back to 8 times 9 is 72. That's as close as that we could get to 79 without going over. So now we're going to use that 9 and the 72. The 9 is going to go on top, because 8 times 9 is equal to 72. That's as close as we could get. And now we're going to subtract just so that we have a number to show how close. That becomes our remainder. And our answer is 9 R7, which means 9 with a remainder of 7. Let's try another related fact strategy. 57 divided by 4. Our first step is 4 times what number equals 5? In other words, how many times can 4 go into 5 without going over? Using our facts, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8 is too much, so we're going to use 4 times 1 equals 4. We're going to use the 1 and the 4. And now we're going to subtract because that shows us how close. 5 minus the 4 is 1. And for this problem, we're going to have to bring the 7 down. All right, so now we have 17. We're going to X out the information that we don't need anymore. And now the next step is ask yourself 4 times what number equals 17? In other words, how many times does 4 go into 17 without going over? Using our facts, 4 times 1 is 4. We can get to 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. And 4 times 5 is 20 is too much. We went over. So we go back to the 16. 4 times 4 is 16. We can use the 4 and the 16. The 4 goes on top. And the 16 goes beneath the 17 because we need to find out how close we got. We subtract to find that number, and our answers, we have no other numbers to bring down, and the 1 goes up top, and we have 14, remainder 1. All right, here's some problems for you to try if you want to pause and give it a try. All right, I'm going to move quickly. And we'll solve. I'm not going to show all the steps, but we'll just show it quickly. A, 47 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. Then we subtract. 4 minus 3 is 1. We bring down the 7. We have 17. How many times does 3 go into 17? That would be 5, right? 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract to find the difference. We get 2. And our answer is 15R2. Next is B, 65 divided by 8. How many times does 8 go into 6? Well, that doesn't. So now we got to try 8 into 65. That goes 8 times because 8 times 8 is 64. We subtract to find out how close we got. 5 minus 4 is 1. And our answer is going to be 8 with a remainder of 1. C, 91 divided by 4. First step is how many times does 4 go into 9 without going over? That would be 2. We multiply the 2 times 4. That gives us 8. Subtract. 9 minus 8 is equal to 1. We're going to bring down that 1 and ask yourself now, how many times does 4 go into 11 without going over? That is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. We subtract to find the difference. 11 minus 8 is 3. And that 3 becomes our remainder, and our answer is 22 with a remainder of 3. If you made it this far, awesome. Thank you so much. I'll put a link to a multiplication chart in the description today. Thanks for your hard work, and we'll hope to see you on the next one.